If you're still relying for a paycheck in this economy, I got news for you. You're in trouble. A lot of these companies are going through with the Spirit, and we'll get into the whole entire thing that happened with Spirit. But the economy is changing every single day. And you look at the numbers, and they look okay, decent. Some would tell you it looks great. Some would tell you there's a bigger warning in these numbers. I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I think, but I think there's a lesson to be learned from this Spirit situation, which Spirit has been failing for years, but there's a bigger lesson to be learned in all of this. This whole Spirit airline thing, 17,000 people lost their jobs. Where do they go to now? But my whole message today is going to be that you haven't been in a better time, and this is a narrative that I'm pushing, in a better time to start your own business or to start a side hustle because of the tools that are available to you. Social media today, it's the easiest it's ever been. It's complicated. You really have to put the time in, but once you start figuring it out, it's interest media, and you push content to people in your sector or in your business or in your industry, and you start developing clients and leads through that. And also you have AI. You have so many different platforms from Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, which is by now, for me now, is my favorite. There's so many different ways you can create a side hustle, you can create a business, you can create an entity. Mark Cuban talks about there's going to be a one-person billion-dollar company. I already think that's already happened, where you're going to be able to run a whole entire organization with one person. And I have a warning for all you guys that AI is the worst that it is today, and it's coming. Companies are going to continue to reduce workforces, and they're going to be able to, with one employee, do 3, 5, 7, 10 people's jobs with one employee overseeing AI agents. So I'm not saying that you fully have to own a business, but you need to understand AI and be proficient in AI because this is coming. Labor cost is up. Inflation is starting to rise up again. Gas is over $4. When is this Iran situation get settled? That's a whole debate. You know, Trump talked about 6 weeks. We're into almost 3 months of this war, and we still have no resolution. And you're feeling it at the gas pump, and you're starting to see some of it in the food that we're buying. You're starting to see inflation and cost of goods start going up. So my whole thing is, why are you going to leave your future in a company's hand or in the government's hands when you have the opportunity of a lifetime with AI and social media to build something that's yours and it's for your own? Well, you say, hey, Andy, I'm not a business person. Well, then what's your alternative? Put your faith in a company that eventually will possibly replace you. And I'm not saying skilled, something that you have a license in. You know, plumbers are a thing, roofers are a thing. Those are going to be needed. Electricians are going to be needed. Nurses are going to be needed at some capacity. If you have a license or certificate, or if you're a doctor, which maybe humanoids replace doctors, who knows? But right now, I think you're pretty safe. Attorneys are one that are interesting to me. Like, I use ChatGPT now and Claude, and I use all these things on contractual things, simple contractual things. If it gets more complicated, I bring attorneys in. But some of the contracts that I've put out now, it's been on ChatGPT. Give me the pros and cons. When they send me contracts, I'm not sending it to an attorney and taking, 5, 7, 2 weeks to give me an answer on a contract that ChatGPT can tell me the pros and cons and how to redline it. And that's just the world that we're living in today. And I feel like a lot of people either don't want to understand it or are not aware, which by now I think you would be aware, and don't want to put the time into learning these applications and what they truly do, and going on YouTube and getting courses on AI. This stuff is all free to you, but you guys refuse to, do it. You don't want to put the time in, and you rather be on Hulu and Netflix and all these streaming services and play video games. And that's great. If that's going to pay for your bills and you're okay with that, then cool. All power to you. I want you to be happy doing what you do. But if you want to prevent a situation like the Spirit Airlines, and I'm not saying AI was part of it. It was part of inflation and gas prices going up, which put Spirit over the top. Then I tell you, you need to start learning how all this stuff works. That's just my opinion. Let's roll the first clip from CNN on this whole Spirit situation.
Spirit Airlines is going out of business. The airline said early this morning that it has begun shutting down operations. It's also canceled all upcoming flights. This is what customers see when they go to the Spirit website. The discount carrier says customer service is no longer available. It's also advising passengers not to come to the airport and to rebook their travel on different airlines. 17,000 workers are now out of a job. Passengers, they're scrambling to make other travel arrangements. The final Spirit flight touched down at Dallas-Fort Worth International just after midnight. Air traffic controllers and other airline pilots, they were heard wishing the Spirit pilots well as they made their final descent.
Hey Spirit, Smith guys, it's American. Good luck to y'all. Sorry to hear what happened.
Is there any other Spirit flights coming in after us?
You might be the last one. Well, it was a pleasure working with you guys, and I wish you the best.
Been here. Thank you very much.
Well, the soaring jet fuel costs, which have nearly doubled since the start of the war with Iran, well, they derailed Spirit's plans to emerge from its second bankruptcy. Spirit and the Trump administration also failed to come to a last-minute bailout deal before the airline, on Friday. CNN's Gloria Pazmino is live at LaGuardia Airport, one of the Spirit hubs. Did people take the warning and not show up? What are you seeing?
Well, Victor, hopefully if you're one of the more than 1 million passengers whose flights are now canceled, you know that you should be checking your email, checking your airline app, and not coming to the airport. But despite that, we have run into at least 2 people in the past hour who came in here thinking that they were going to be able to fly out. They told me that they simply had not checked their email. They did not realize that their flights had been canceled. This is Terminal A in LaGuardia Airport. It's a small terminal, but it is the Spirit Airlines hub at this airport. And I want to show you what it looks like now. You see up in the board here, it tells you all of these flights that were scheduled for today to arrive here have been canceled. Now, the terminal right now is pretty empty, and if you walk
So
up
just
to one
stop
of
the
these
clip here.
check-in
So this gives you the picture of what happened here. They just pulled the plug from one day to the next, and the CEO's getting a lot of heat for doing it how they did it. Listen, I've been there before. And things in business just happen and snowball so fast that you're just trying to react, and you have no choice but to shut down the company. And I did that in Texas, in the state of Texas, in 2020, right before COVID started. I had to shut down our Texas branches. It was the most terrible, probably one of the most terrible days I've ever had in business. There's been a few, but that was probably one of the worst. Having to call my COO and telling him, hey, we're going to have to shut down Texas. And we had to lay off a bunch of employees in the Texas market. It broke my heart. And it was tough. And that happened from one day to the next because we couldn't meet payroll and everything snowballed on us. And the same thing probably happened here where this snowballed on them. You know, they were probably praying that jet fuel will go down, but it's over $4. And that's significant when you get a $2, about a $2 increase, $1.50, $1.80, and you do that over gallons and gallons and gallons and millions of gallons that they're spending money on. That can sink your company, pretty quickly. And it's a company that was already struggling. They already went through one bankruptcy. They're going to the second bankruptcy. The federal government didn't bail them out. That's tough. And what's going to happen is there's going to be reactionary price increase when we go buy flights now, because now you're talking about 1 million passengers that don't have flights anymore. What airlines do they go to? So the increase of demand goes up and prices usually go up. That's economics 101. So you're going to see prices go up already with the surging, gas prices. Now you're going to see your tickets go up when it comes to travel. And what kind of impact does that have on the economy? But back to the whole point of how I started this segment is that you need to take control of your life and what this is going to look like for you and your future going forward. And some of you are just have self-limiting beliefs on why you can't start a business or be an entrepreneur, and or do not want to learn these applications. It's coming. The tsunami's coming. It's already here, and you better take control, because if not, you're gonna head for some real rough times. And you better have a plan B and a plan C to figure out this economy, because this economy has flipped overnight. And it's not the same economy that it used to be, and you're starting to see it in the numbers. There hasn't been any real job growth. You have 8 to 9 million. You have 8 to 9 million Americans working multiple jobs just to make ends meet, and then you have 4.3% unemployment rate, which I suspect that's going to go up in the next year. I don't see how it doesn't. And then you have 0.1% growth versus inflation that's at 4.5%. So there's no true growth in the economy when it comes to wages versus the inflation. So that's why you guys are feeling it. I'm feeling it. Like I've said, I've never looked at a price when I go to a restaurant. Now I'm looking, right? And it's affecting my family. My bills have tripled since COVID, maybe even quadrupled. And everybody that I talk to, and I have a lot of friends that are very successful, and we're having the same conversations, right? And we're not traveling as much. We have taken a step back as a family traveling. There's a lot of things that is affecting this market. So I can only imagine someone that's living paycheck to paycheck, they can't do it. And the other conversation that needs to be had is the $1.3 trillion in credit card debt. You want to talk about a bubble similar to the housing market? Wait till that bubble explodes where people can't pay their credit cards. What's that going to look like? And they don't have credit to turn to be able to buy groceries, to be able to take a trip, to Disney World. I get shocked every time I go to Disney. The lines are, 2-hour lines for a ride. But how can they afford it? I know when I take my family to Disney, it's a $5,000 to $7,000 trip for 3 to 4 days. How are people affording it? Because the numbers don't add up in how our economy is doing to be able to afford a trip like that. And that place is slammed every weekend you go there. And pretty much every week you go there. So it's all credit card debt. And the numbers are showing that. You have $1.3 trillion in credit card debt, and that's rising. And forget the debt that the United States has, which is almost $40 trillion debt. Like, at some point, something's going to give here in the economy. So how do we course correct? And that's the bigger question in all of this. Roll the next clip, because this is an employee at Spirit talking about how she was let off, and I want to give some thoughts there too.
Airlines travelers are now scrambling to make new plans after the carrier announced overnight it is shutting down. Fox 26's McKenna Earnhardt is live at Bush Intercontinental's Terminal A with those details. McKenna.
Yeah, Tom, I actually am here with a now former Spirit Airlines employee. This is Asia. She was going on 4 years as a flight attendant with the airline. A lot of questions people have had now that this bankruptcy has happened is now that Spirit Airlines is shut down altogether, is what happens to the employees, the pilots, flight attendants, mechanics. So many people, over 17,000 people were employed with the company. One of them right here. So, Asia, can you tell me about your experience when you first heard that Spirit Airlines was no more?
When I first heard, my mom actually notified me I was actually asleep. I was sound asleep, and my mom called me. I'm not feeling well, so you can tell I'm a little sick. So I didn't register what she said, and then I had another fellow colleague of mine call me, and she was like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, I know everything's probably canceled." And I'm like, "Cancel? What do you mean?" So I go and I check out my itineraries, and I check my email, and it says like, "Hey guys, this is what we're moving forward. If you are somewhere, this is what we're going to do. This is our procedure. This is our process." And just to be on standby and wait for them to contact us to get us where we got to go. So.
Okay, so you didn't get a prior heads up from Spirit Airlines that they may be shutting down altogether?
Well, so yes, they did keep us informed with emails and just letting us, updating us about those things because, I mean, let's be honest, we get those all over, but they were just more so reassuring us like, hey guys, we're going to stand strong with each other. It's better together than without. So yeah, they did. They definitely did.
Okay, very nice. And so now what position? Are you from Houston? Is this your home?
No, not at all. I actually was working a flight yesterday. I did some other things prior to coming to work, and then they pulled me. They're like, hey, we actually need you to work this flight Atlanta to Houston. It was going to be a one and done, and then I was supposed to deadhead today, which is basically just ride as a passenger today, later on this evening, and a simple trip. And yesterday was just a regular day. You got up, met my crew. Everyone was like, yeah, we've been here. It was nice. It was an easy flight, so I didn't expect this, but we're here.
So now you're in Houston. What has Spirit said or done to help you get back home to Atlanta?
Oh, so I was waiting by the line, so I waited about till 12 o'clock because I've been up since 7 this morning. So about 12 o'clock, I reached out to them, and then I got about like a 10-15 minute wait. They called me back, and they were like, "Hey, Mrs. Smith, we want to let you know we are willing to like get you back home. Give us 1 second." They operated that within not even 5 minutes. Honestly, she got back with me. I was booked for the next flight. So they've been really, really helpful, very hands-on with like just communicating with us.
Okay, very nice.
You can stop it here.
So good to.
So that's the least they can do, Spirit, and it's tough, man. Like I don't listen. I do not feel. I wouldn't want to be that CEO, not for 1 minute, because of that decision he had to make. That's tough stuff, and that's stuff you lose sleep over, and stuff that haunts you. If you have any type of heart, and I don't know the CEO personally, but I would think that maybe he does have a heart, and if you have a heart, that this type of stuff in business crushes you. It's tough, hard decisions, but you have to make it. And I sure it wasn't an easy one. But back to the employees, I put out a post today on my Instagram. And I'm gonna actually put the link in the description or the comment section here, or the description of the YouTube. I don't know, description, comment, I don't know, whatever. Our team will put it there, and you'll see the video that I posted. I'm also gonna put my school community, because I want to be able to help people like her open up their eyes to other opportunities, just not being an employee of a company. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong. If you get a good opportunity to be an employee of a very sustainable and stable company, go for it, right? Not everybody needs to be a number one. Not everybody needs to be a number two. You could be a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I'm saying is that just take a look at it, right? Because there could be something that truly interests you and that you can make money on, and not have to work for an organization, and an organization that's struggling like this, and that you're gonna get caught with your pants down and have a tough situation. So the link's gonna be in the description of this episode, and it's a 7-day free trial. Check it out. We're gonna have a webinar this Friday talking about this very thing of starting a business. Where do I start? Where do I go? The tools that you have accessibility to, which is your social media and AI, and get your mind going on this. And if you want to stay in the community, you can. Very, very low fee to stay there, and the amount of value you're going to get is going to be immense. I have 14 years as an entrepreneur, and I have 22 years in the healthcare space. I've built multi-million-dollar businesses, and I just want to provide value to you guys at a very reasonable price. There's a lot of, I don't want to say fake entrepreneurs, but fake business people. They've never managed hundreds of employees like I have, and they're charging $10, $15, $20, $30,000 for courses and things. And sometimes I'm like, people are really paying this stuff for people that don't have the experience. Listen, the best investment you're ever going to make is in yourself. And I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in self-development courses. I've been to a lot of people's courses. I can name names from, Tony Robbins, Patrick Bet-David, Skylar Lewis at Rise Up Kings, on and on and on. The list goes of things that I've have gone into or have gone to for self-development, and truly they have helped me immensely. I've always taken at least one thing that has moved my organization forward, or personally for myself. So those are the best investment. I just feel that the people out there giving this advice that you guys are going to, and it's a lot of young people that haven't done anything in the business space from building actual organizations. I don't know if they can provide that real value to you. And if you're looking to be an entrepreneur or owning a business and eventually taking that first step, this community is for you. It's called Beyond the CEO. The link is in the description. Usually we're talking about politics and we're talking about different current events, but this one stuck out to me and really spoke to me, because there's a bigger issue than just what happened at Spirit. You're going to see a pattern in our economy just like this. FedEx has laid off people. Amazon has laid off people. So what's your next move, right? What's being 5 steps ahead, like PBD talks about in his book? What's your next 5 moves? And that's not only for a business owner, that's for you personally. What are your next 5 moves? If this happens, how do I react, right? Am I ready for a situation like this, being an employee of an organization? I think the information's out there for you to be able to really learn something new that you didn't know. So, and have an opportunity to monetize. Do you need to make millions of dollars? No, but imagine having a side hustle that's bringing you in $3,000 to $5,000 extra a month. Doesn't that help? Can pay off your rent, can pay off your car. Doesn't mean that you have to own a business that's making you millions and millions of dollars. That takes a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of patience. And people want to make millions overnight, and that's not reality. This takes a long, long time, and you'll find along the way that, man, damn, I kind of like working for myself, and I kind of like building what I'm building, and I'm passionate about it. So I just think there's so much upside to creating a side hustle, becoming an entrepreneur, and I think it's for everybody. And I really don't think it's a one-size-fit-all type situation with people. I think you have these conversations, and I've been in these rooms, and this is what people tell themselves with these self-limiting beliefs, and I'm like, why are we talking like this? And I really want to provide value. So join my school community. I think you're going to get immense value. And if you don't like, we're going to do probably if you sign up today, we'll do 2 calls, and maybe I'll add another call in there. But I want to provide the most maximum value for the least amount. What better investment than in yourself to really learn something new that you didn't know? So that concludes our show today. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, comment, but hit that subscribe button. We really need your support. We're really trying to grow the show and bring you valuable information. We want to continue bringing guests. I have a huge guest coming on Wednesday. I just interviewed Vitor Belfort. That episode should be dropping. And we're going to continue getting guests like this, but we need your support. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Catch you guys on the next one.